Before you want to change your life, you have to change your mind. Oh my god, hey. Hi to my little sisters and my little brothers on my channel. Yeah. Yeah. Hope you're doing good. I have decided that I want to make a new playlist where the idea is that I help you, that I guide you, connect the dots to connect the dots of stuff. Self doubt, talking bad about yourself, more so talking bad about yourself, and how the impact on yourself is bigger than you think. From my personal experience, I have gone through talking bad about like my appearance and like with my thoughts, always speaking so negatively to myself and to things and to people. It became normalized to say shit like, oh, I'm okay. I don't need help. I hate myself. I hate my face. I hate my body. My problems ain't shit and it doesn't matter. I think those were my favorite ones. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Words hold power over people and especially over yourself. I hope to give you guidance by giving you a new perspective on how to change your behavior, your belief systems on speaking bad about yourself. Yeah. Anyways, let us get to it. Let us get to it. Before you want to change your life, you have to change your mind. So, this is what it means when people say this is them shifting their reality. Maybe you have heard that, maybe you haven't, but for someone who doesn't have a lot of information, obviously you're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Girl, this is an example. Like, words hold power. When you know that, you will understand the impact that you have, and you had on yourself to like such a deeper level. I highly suggest that you watch a YouTube video that is strictly on this experiment. If I explain it poorly, but also if you just do want an in-depth explanation on what they did in this experiment, because I'm about to explain it on like the basics of basics. Is in this experiment from this person here. In this experiment, it involves two key topics: water and frequency. Okay. First thing to know is that us as humans in this vessel that we live in this lifetime, around like 80% of our entire body is made out of water. Keep that in mind. It will make sense. Okay, I messed up on my explanation, so here I am. But, anyways, in this experiment, this man had jars of water, and on each jar, there was a word attached to it, to which he then froze the jars to check his results to see what the frozen state looked like. Like, one of the examples was like, I love you, and just like positive sayings. Like, and then he also had other students say very negative things. I hate you, evil. And as you can see here, for the word like regarding like love, it's very pretty. It's a very specific form. Very cute, very cool. You know what you're looking at. It's like a very clear pattern. Versus him looking at a negative water jar. For example, here, there's either no form or it just looks ugly. So, in conclusion of this experiment, I feel like there are three key points to take away from this. One, when water is exposed to positive stimuli, such as peace, I love you, we see more structured, more symmetrical, aesthetically pleasing formed ice crystals. Versus when water is exposed to more negative stimuli, such as evil, there is no structure or it is super irregular in its formation. I'd like to also add that in this experiment, he also applied audio, like musical frequencies, to this water, as well as using different water sources, as you can see in the picture. Second key takeaway is that words, thoughts, and emotions behind what has been written or said in this experiment has been a huge influence on how these ice crystals have been created. Last takeaway, which is a quote from Masaru himself, is that he believes this experiment serves as a blueprint to reality. But yeah, I hope you learned something or at least found this interesting. I'd also like to preface that people do consider this experiment as a pseudo science. I think that's how you say it. And it's not like backed up science. But that said, hello, that's not the point. The point of this video is to give you a new perspective on how you can view and change your way with your words. This then connects to two things. The next thing that we're going to look at is this chart right here. This one is essentially a frequency chart. And frequency on a basic level, higher frequencies, like on this chart here, it signifies more positive, uplifting, unity type of emotions. However, on the bottom part of this chart, low frequency, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of hate. I feel like this chart in itself, it was really a big help visually to see where I was at the moment. And before I went into therapy, I was definitely ranging between the lower part of this chart, right? I didn't know like what I was doing at the time, but even just looking at this chart and knowing that it exists now, it kind of gave me an aid to figure out how I'm feeling at the moment. Because again, one thing during my journey is that most of the time before I went to therapy, I was so numb. I was so numb. I was so confused on like why I was feeling like this. Then I refer to this chart and I say to myself in my head like, "Oh, I'm feeling shit, so I'm definitely feeling like, just low vibes, low vibrations at the moment." Now, this is not like a game changer, but again, awareness is key, and this was one of my first steps to healing myself. The fuck? And it did help. Yes. Now we go into the idea of vibrations. If you ever heard people talk about or say, there's high vibes right now, they are talking about all these feelings toward the top of this chart. Most of the time, they say that because they feel it on a collective moment. If you and your friends are having fun and everyone left their worries like at the door, then obviously you guys as a group will be bouncing off each other's like excitement and happiness to be with each other. You guys are up here. You're feeling high vibes. However, say for example, if your friend is feeling very negative, they're all in their head, you feel that this person is like super anxious. This is what you call low vibes. It's not a bad thing, but this is how we just identify the situation. Negative emotions, low vibrations is obviously super strong. That said, going back to this example, you don't even have to speak to your friend for those emotions to just attack you. You manifest her emotions because you may be worried about her, but like there is still a possibility for you to attract those feelings to you if you are not aware or you are just not protecting yourself from, standing your ground and holding neutrality and whatnot. And yeah, you didn't even do anything bad today, but now you feel anxious, like, and you're questioning, like, for what? Emotions, vibes, frequencies, it can be very contagious. And that is something that I have been paying attention to, not only with people in real life, but with the media you consume. Like, I don't know if you heard, but like when people say, like, be careful with like what music you're listening to, more specifically for shit like rap, blah blah blah. Girl, I still listen to rap, not as much anymore, but it makes sense. For example, like hood rap, like for the more intense songs, like TK, like this man is talking about how he did his murder and whatnot. Like, obviously, that's low vibes. Hello, that is low vibes. And that, even though the beat is good, that is essentially what the music is pushing out, frequency wise, emotionally wise. So yeah, verses are more like, I don't know, instrumental sound or whatever. It's either like neutrality, this contentment. To dig a little deeper, it does come down to your belief systems. When you have the space, the capacity, the time, you have to ask yourself, even just like think about the habits and how you react to something. Are my belief systems holding me back from moving forward, from taking the next step in this activity, to meeting new people? Even though my goal is to like make new friends, like, is my anxiety like holding me back? Is my self esteem like holding me back from feeling love? That said, every belief system has a consequence, for good and for bad. You just have to figure out if it's helping you. You have to question how you respond to certain situations that come up often in your life, or even just intense situations, and just see to yourself, do I keep repeating the same event? Do I keep repeating the same response and getting the same result? That was the one thing that like blew my mind, right? When it came to understanding like belief systems regarding feeling stuck in life and not wanting to be like so stagnant and like stuck with these like traumas and like issues. Ask yourself, like, am I coming to the exact same result every single time? Then something is wrong. Obviously, something is wrong, but that also means something needs to change. With all that, awareness is key to even just start the journey. Awareness is key to know. You have to accept, or even not accept, but you just have to keep telling yourself that, like, this is an issue. I keep hitting a wall. I keep getting the same result. And you just have to, like, you don't want that anymore. You know, you have to not want that situation. You have to, like, not want that result anymore for you to kind of, like, re trick your brain to think otherwise. For some people, they do need to hit their last wall for them to wake up. However, for other people, girl, you can take change now. Thinking about it now, like, I feel so grateful that I just took that step, even out of fear, out of confusion, out of feeling lost. Like, I still did it though. And that was like, again, that could be one of your best decisions to saving yourself, to like healing yourself. And you just have to take that risk on yourself if you just don't want to be in the same situation again. Or at least you don't want to feel this way in that current situation that you are experiencing. One more thing about this chart and how I guess I used it. I'm aware of it, but now I'm like using it. Again, recap, I used it to like identify what I was feeling like in the moment and the way I used it. And this is very like a realistic approach. I simply just looked to the next emotion on the chart, right? It makes sense. It's not realistic to jump from like so fearful to fucking like third eye. Like, you don't even know what that means. You don't know what that means. Sometimes I take like bigger gaps and like through changing and healing. Next thing you know it, I'm like three emotions higher now. And obviously, you are definitely gonna bounce like up and down like that. It may be frequent, it may be infrequent, but I feel like the main goal of this chart and for taking control of your emotions is at least neutrality, this contentment. That is where we want to be because that is what we want our kind of default emotion to be because that is what we were born with. Oh my god. Oh my god. I should talk about my perspective on, you know what? I'm gonna just get to it. Okay. Quick sidetrack. This is just some information that as a collective, as society, we simply have just forgot. Essentially, when we were born, before context and subjects and situations came into our life and applied to our life, when we were born, We were born into the, not into the emotion, but we were born at the emotion of neutrality, of contentment. Because, girl, we were not born to be fearful. We were not born to be anxious. We were not born to feel guilt, to feel shame. It was never like that. Those negative emotions have only been applied to your life because of circumstances and situations and context. Our base level of human emotion is neutrality. And when trying to regulate your emotions again, to become unstuck, to have control over your emotions and have control over your situation, your life once more, your bare minimum is to reach contentment. That is your goal. It does not have to be happiness, it does not have to be bliss, but contentment. And I would even say, like, gratefulness and appreciativeness. That is the emotion that we came into this world feeling. Isn't that interesting? We are towards the end of the video now, and now we have to ask a question once more: what needs to be seen? And the answer to that question is the internal. Here and here, you need to see your internal. As ugly and horrendous as you may perceive it to be at the moment, it can change. Again, the only reason that you feel this way is because of circumstances and contexts and situations and life experiences that you individually have experienced. But another popular saying that you may have heard people say: what you see in the world is what you perceive inside. I'm a very positive, and here's an example. I'm a very positive person. The new me, the changed me. I'm very positive, I'm very adaptable, I'm very optimistic. My friend circle have changed. My perspectives have changed on certain topics. I like this now, I don't like that. And it really is, and it really comes down to how I changed my brain. I kept being open minded. I learned how to regulate my emotions and how to respond to things now. Respond to how I'm feeling. Yeah. Respond to how I'm feeling instead of reacting to when I'm about to spiral out, you know? Asking myself, like, okay, I'm about to like tweak out. What am I going to do now? What? You keep talking to yourself badly and even shit talking people badly. You are going to see that on the outside. You are going to see other people talking badly. They're going to be talking badly about you behind their backs, and you wouldn't know that. And why are you in this situation? Is because you're attracting that. Again, what you see in the world, what you see around you, who you see around you, is what you perceive in your internal. Negative mindset leads to potentially negative circles, negative environments. Like, what else? It makes sense. Again, words are incredibly powerful, bitch. Even the word spelling, right? I guess it's also like a visual thing, but like, and I feel like there's a specific word for like stuff like this, but the word spelling, right? If you break it up, the word spell is in there. I don't take this as a deep thing, but it's just like so interesting and also like a visual thing. Be like, ooh, spell. You casting spells with your word on yourself, on me, on them. Karma's coming for you, bitch. You talk shit, karma's coming for you. I don't even have to do a thing. But yes, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching my first like teaching moment. Expect more of this in the future because I really like enlightening people on how I view the world now. Anyways, ta ta. You. Bye.